Hello there, friends. It's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb and theloopylamb.com, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel. It is week 27 of the 2023 Amigurumi Advent Calendar Crochet Along, and it is the last week of our Crochet Along. It's hard to believe that we're here already. And this week, we have not one, but two projects that we're going to be making, and we've split them into two different videos. So after you're done making this project, make sure that you check out the second video to complete your elf project. So we've already covered making the shorts for our elf dolls. We've covered the shirt, and in this video we're going to be making the elf hat for our doll's elf costume. And then in our next video we'll have the basic doll shoes that you can make that can be used for any of the outfits that we've used or made throughout this crochet along. This is an easy project, and of course I'm going to walk you through step by step how to crochet your very own elf hat for your doll. So let's hop on into what materials you'll need to follow along with today's tutorial. To follow along with today's tutorial, you'll need the following materials. You'll need a worsted weight yarn in two colors of your preference. We're using the We Crochet Brava worsted weight line here today, and I'm using the colors Dove Heather and Pea Pod here in the green. You can see in our original sample here, I've used a green color, which is actually called Avocado, and the color white for the trim. But to make it easier for you to see, we've changed up our colors to a gray and a green. You'll need a 3.5 millimeter or E crochet hook. If you've been following along with the crochet along so far and you've used a different hook size to match the gauge given in the pattern, then use that hook size for this tutorial. If you're looking for the gauge information, you can find that in the free version of the written pattern from this tutorial, and I've linked that in the description box for you below. You'll also need a tapestry needle and a stitch marker. So let me clear off my workspace here and we'll hop on into crocheting an elf hat for our Amigurumi dolls. To start our elf hat for our doll, we're going to need to use our first color for me, which is the color Pea Pod. In the actual sample from the pattern, we use the color Avocado. It's just a different shade of green. So whatever color you're using for your elf hat. And because the hat is worked from the top down, so here's my little elf hat. We're starting here and we're moving down. So we're using our first color, and then we'll change to our second color for our brim later on. So we're using our first color and we're going to create a magic circle. So laying it across our palm like this, the yarn tail, we're going to pin it down with our thumb, and then using the working end of the yarn to wrap around our fingers, bringing it to the front and then crossing it over itself to create an X like so. Then while maintaining tension on your working yarn, we're going to flip our hand over, bringing the yarn across the top of our fingers. And then I'm going to pin the working yarn between my baby finger and my ring finger here. Then using my crochet hook, I'm going to insert it under the first strand and over the second. And I'm going to pull that second strand out and under the first. Now we're going to twist our crochet hook to create a loop, and you can see that we've got a cross happening here in the yarn, and that is vital for our next step. So we're going to yarn over using this yarn here that's pinned between our fingers, and we're going to pull that yarn through the loop on our hook. And that completes your magic circle, and you can remove your fingers now. So then I would recommend though, is that you can see the yarn tail is kind of inside the magic ring. We want to pull that yarn tail out of the magic ring before we start crocheting, because we're going to crochet over the tail in our first steps here. Now, if you need to see this slower, I do have a video tutorial on how to do the magic ring that's done slower, or you can slow down the speed settings on your video using the little gear icon in the bottom of your player. So for round one, we're going to start by creating 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So when we're going to work into the magic ring, we're going to insert our hook into the magic ring and make sure that you're picking up your yarn tail. So it should look like there's 2 strands on your hook before you do this next step. We're going to yarn over hook and pull up a loop. There should be 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. And that is our first single crochet completed. So now we need to do that 5 more times because we need to have 6 single crochets in our ring. So we're going to insert back into the ring, yarn over, and pull up a loop. There should be 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops. And that's your second single crochet completed. We'll do this again into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And there's 3. And we need to do this 3 more times for a total of 6 stitches. All right, so I've got my 6 stitches. If you're not sure how to make sure you have the right amount of stitches, turn your piece so the stitches are facing up. You should see these little V's along the top. We never count the yarn on our hook as a stitch. Then we're starting to count the V's from the very first V closest to our hook. And if you're counting along, you should have 6. Now that very first stitch can hide a little bit on you, so make sure that you do find that. And I count all my V's here, and I have 6 stitches. And now I'm ready to move into round 2. But before that, I want to close my magic circle. So I'm going to grab my yarn tail with one hand and hold on to my stitches with the other. And I'm going to tug on that yarn tail to close my magic circle. And this is what your piece should look like moving into round 2. So for round 2, we're going to need our stitch markers, so make sure that you've got that handy before moving on to the next step. So in round 2, we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So we're just going to insert our hook into that very first stitch we made. And now, depending on how tightly you did that, it can be tricky to work into that very first stitch. As you can see here, I did mine a little too tightly. So just have patience with yourself working into that first stitch. So I've inserted my hook under both loops of the stitch, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete my first single crochet. And then I'm going to insert my stitch marker into that stitch, and I'm ready to keep crocheting. And then we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So inserting my hook into the next stitch, single crochet, inserting my hook into this next stitch, and single crochet. Now as we work, our piece will grow. So at this point it is a little tight to work into, but it will improve as we crochet because it's going to start to increase in size. So we're just working that 1 single crochet into each stitch around. And here's our last single crochet. And now we have 6 single crochets. And again, you count those stitches, counting those V's, always starting with the one with the stitch marker on it because we know that is our first stitch. Now at this point, your piece will probably start cupping like this, and that's totally fine. Again, it's going to start growing as we start increasing in our next round. So moving into round 3, we have a pattern repeat we need to do 3 times. And that pattern repeat is single crochet increase into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next. Now a single crochet increase is 2 single crochets worked into the same stitch. So we'll do that now. We're going to work into that first stitch, and we're going to single crochet once. We're going to grab our stitch marker and place it into that stitch. Now we're going to go back into that same stitch we just worked into. So working into that same stitch, we're going to single crochet a second time. And that's your single crochet increase completed. Again, that's just 2 single crochets worked into the same stitch. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And that's our first repeat done. We're going to do that 2 more times. Single crochet increase, or 2 single crochets worked into the same stitch, into this first stitch here, and then 1 single crochet into the next. All right, we need to do that repeat 1 more time. We're going to move the stitch marker out of the way here, and we're going to single crochet increase into this first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the next. At the end of this round, we should have 9 single crochets. So then we're moving into round 4. We're moving the stitch marker out of the way. And then we're going to work a single crochet increase into the first stitch. So into that first stitch, we'll do the first single crochet. Move up our stitch marker, back into the same stitch, and single crochet a second time. Then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, into the next stitch, there's 1. And so that's our first pattern repeat, and we need to do that a total of 3 times. And again, that repeat is single crochet increase and then 1 single crochet worked into each of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to do a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. And then 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. All right, one more repeat together. We're going to do a single crochet increase into this first stitch. And then 1 single crochet into each of these last 2 stitches. At the end of round 4, you should have 12 stitches. So you can see that our piece is starting to grow. It's starting to look more like a cone, and it's going to continue to be cone shaped for the rest of the hat. So what we're doing is we're going to be increasing by 3 stitches each round, and each round has its own pattern repeat, and we'll do that together twice, and then I'll leave you to do the 3rd repeat on your own when we have rows where we can do that. So now we're moving into round 5 together. In round 5, we have a pattern repeat again to do 3 times, and that repeat is 1 single crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. So there's our first stitch, move up a stitch marker. So there's 1, 2, 2, and 3, followed by a single crochet increase. And that's our first pattern repeat. We're doing 3 single crochets followed by a single crochet increase. And we'll do that one more time together. 1 single crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. There's 3, followed by a single crochet increase into the next. So if you'd like to pause your video and do the last repeat on your own, at the end of this round, you should have 15 single crochet stitches. So now we're moving into round 6. We're going to start round 6 by working 1 single crochet into each of these first 2 stitches. So here's our first single crochet. Move up our stitch marker here. And then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Now we're going to work a single crochet increase here into the next. And now we have a repeat we need to do 2 times. We're going to do 4 single crochets, or 1 single crochet into each of the first 4 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, followed by a single crochet increase into the next stitch. That's our first repeat, and we'll do that again. 1 single crochet into each of the first 4 stitches. And now we'll single crochet increase into the next stitch. Now we should have 2 stitches remaining, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of those remaining 2 stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 18 single crochets. So moving into round 7, we have a repeat we're going to do 3 times, and that repeat is a single crochet increase into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So let's do that together. We'll do a single crochet increase into this first stitch. Here's the first stitch, placing my stitch marker into that stitch, and then back into the same stitch to do my second single crochet. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So here's 1, 3, and 5. That's our first pattern repeat completed. We'll do that one more time together. We're doing a single crochet increase into the next stitch. and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. There's 3 and 5. So if you'd like to pause your video and do this repeat one more time, a single crochet increase followed by 5 single crochets. At the end of this round, you should have 21 stitches. I'll meet you back here in just a moment. All right, so we're moving into round 8. We're going to start round 8 where you're working 1 single crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. So here's our first single crochet, and we're moving up our stitch marker into that stitch. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of these next 2 stitches. Now we're going to work a single crochet increase into the next. So here's that first part of that increase, back into the same stitch, and here is the second. And then we're going to work a pattern repeat twice, and that repeat is 6 single crochets followed by a single crochet increase. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 6 stitches. There's 3. And there's 6. And now we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. That's our first repeat, and we'll do that again, 1 single crochet into each of the first 6 stitches. There's 6, and now we're going to single crochet increase into this next stitch. There should be 3 stitches left to be worked in this round, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of these remaining stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 24 stitches. Now we're moving into round 9. Round 9, we have a pattern repeat that we need to do 3 times, and that repeat is single crochet increase into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So let's start our increase here with our first stitch and move up our stitch marker. Back into the same stitch to do the second part of our increase. Then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So there's 1, 3, and there's 7. So that's our first pattern repeat completed. We need to do that 2 more times. We'll do a single crochet increase into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. There's 3, 5, and 7. So we'd like to pause your video and work 1 more repeat of a single crochet increase followed by 7 single crochets. You should have 27 stitches at the end of this round. I'll meet you back here in just a moment to show you how we're moving into round 10. So moving into round 10, we're going to start by working 1 single crochet into each of the first 4 stitches. So working my first single crochet here, I'm going to move up my stitch marker. Now we have to do 3 more single crochets. So here's 1, and 3. Now that I have a total of 4 single crochets, I'm going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. And now we have a pattern repeat that we need to do 2 times. We're going to do 1 single crochet into each of the first 8 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. So we'll do that now. 1 single crochet into each of the first 8 stitches. So there's 2, 4, 6, and 8. And now we'll do a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. That's our first repeat completed. We'll do this again together. We'll do 1 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches. And now we'll do a single crochet increase into this next stitch. You should have 4 stitches left to be worked in this round, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of these stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 30 single crochets. Moving into round 11, we're going to move our stitch marker out of the way, and we have a repeat we need to do 3 times. And that repeat is 1 single crochet into each of the first 9 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. So let's do that first stitch together here, and we'll move up our stitch marker. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches since we've already done 1 stitch. So 1, 3, 4. So you should have 9 single crochets completed. Now we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. And that is our first pattern repeat completed. We're going to do that one more time together. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. So there's 1, 4, 5, and there's our 9th single crochet. Now we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. So if you'd like to pause your video and do the last repeat of 9 single crochets followed by a single crochet increase, I'll meet you here at the end of the round. And at the end of this round, you should have 33 single crochets. So moving into round 12, we're going to start by moving our stitch marker out of the way, and we're working 1 single crochet into each of the first 5 stitches. Grab our stitch marker, put that in that stitch. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, since we've already done our first stitch. So now that I have 5 single crochets, I'm going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. And now we have a repeat that we need to do twice. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 10 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. There's 1, 5, and here is 10. And now we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. That's our first repeat, and we need to do that again. We'll work 1 single crochet into each of the first 10 stitches. There's 5. There's 10, and then we're going to do a single crochet increase into this next stitch. You should have 5 stitches left in this round to be worked, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of those remaining stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches. So now we're working into round 13. We have a repeat we are going to do 3 times. And that repeat is a single crochet increase into the first stitch, followed by 1 single crochet worked into the next 11 stitches. So let's start the first part of our single crochet increase. then move up our stitch marker. Now back into that same stitch to do the second part of our increase. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. And there is 11. So that's our first repeat done. We're going to do that again. We need to do it 2 more times. So a single crochet increase into the first stitch. And then 1 single crochet worked into each of the next 11 stitches. There's 5. And 11. So now I'll leave you to pause the video and work 1 more repeat of single crochet increase into the next stitch, then 1 single crochet into each of the next 11 stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 39 single crochets. So let me get you back here in just a moment. All right, so we're moving into round 14. We're going to move our stitch marker out of the way, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 6 stitches. So here is our first single crochet, moving up our stitch marker here. Then we're working 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So we should have 6 total single crochets done, and then we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. Now we're going to work a pattern repeat 2 times. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 12 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. And again, we need to do that 12 times. So we're working 1 single crochet into the first 12 stitches. There's 3. $10 and 12. Now that we have 12 single crochets completed, we will work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. And that is our first pattern repeat completed. We need to do this again. So we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 12 stitches. And here is 6. And 12. Now we're going to work a single crochet increase into the next stitch. You should have 6 stitches left to be worked in this round, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of those stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 42 single crochet stitches. All right, so we are moving into round 15. For round 15, we have a pattern repeat that we're going to do a total of 3 times. And that pattern repeat is 1 single crochet into each of the first 13 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. So let's do that first one together now. We're going to work 1 single crochet into this first stitch, and then we're going to move up our stitch marker. Now that we have 1 stitch done, we need to do 1 single crochet into each of the next 12 stitches. So now we've got our total 13 single crochets. We're going to do a single crochet increase into this next stitch. And that is our first pattern repeat completed. We need to do that 12 more times. Goodness, 2 more times. So we're going to do 1 single crochet into each of the next 13 stitches. There's 1. There's 6. And there's 13. And now we're going to do a single crochet increase into the next. So I'll let you pause your video and work the last repeat on your own. And again, that's 13 single crochets, 1 in each of the first 13 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase. At the end of this round, you should have 45 stitches. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So now we're moving into round 16, and we're going to start round 16 by working 1 single crochet into each of the first 7 stitches. So here we'll do our first single crochet and move up our stitch marker, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. And now we'll do a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. So now that we have our 7 single crochets followed by our single crochet increase, we need to do a repeat, and we need to do that twice. And a repeat is 1 single crochet into each of the first 14 stitches followed by a single crochet increase. So let's start that now. Here's 1, 3, 7, 10, 'Right, there's our 14 stitches. Now we'll do a single crochet increase into this next stitch. And we'll do that repeat again. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 14 stitches. Now that we have our 14 single crochets, we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. You should have 7 stitches left to be worked in the round, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each of those remaining stitches. At the end of this round, you should have 48 single crochets. So now we're moving into round 17, and for round 17 we have a repeat that we're going to do 3 more times. This is our last increase round. So what we're going to do is we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 11 stitches. Then we're going to do a single crochet increase, and we need to do this repeat a total of 4 times. Okay, so we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 11 stitches. We're moving up our stitch marker here. There's 1 stitch, and now we need to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 10 stitches. So now that we have our 11 single crochets, we're going to work a single crochet increase into this next stitch. and that is our first repeat. We need to do this 3 more times. We'll do this one more time together. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the first 11 stitches. So there's 1, there's 4, 7, and 11. And now we'll work a single crochet increase into this next stitch here. And that is our second pattern repeat completed. If you'd like to pause your video and do 2 more repeats of 1 single crochet worked into the first 11 stitches, followed by a single crochet increase, at the end of this round you should have 52 single crochets. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. All right, so we're moving into round 18, and round 18 is a simple one. We're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So if you'd like to pause your video and work 1 single crochet into each stitch around, do not do the last stitch of this round. Meet me back here when you're ready to do that stitch, because we're going to change colors moving into the brim of our hat. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment, meeting you back here to do the last stitch of this round together. All right, so I'm back here and I'm at the last stitch of round 18, and we haven't done that stitch yet because we're changing colors moving into round 19. So when we're changing colors, we use the last yarn over of the last stitch before we're supposed to change colors to actually change the color. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert into this last stitch here, and we're going to start our single crochet as we normally do with our current color. All right, so you should still have those 2 loops on your hook. Then I'm going to drop my old color and I'm going to bring in my new color, which if you're following along with the original sample would be white. I'm using the color gray here for mine. So I'm just going to drape the new color over my hook like so to create a yarn over. Then I'm going to hold tension on that gray yarn and pull that through both loops on my hook to complete my stitch. Now, if you can notice that my yarn for my green has gotten a little loosey-goosey there, so I'm just going to give that a little tug to pull that down, and now I can proceed moving on in my new color. Now, in this next step, you can crochet over the green if you'd like to, over the yarn tail in order to avoid weaving it in, or you can simply leave that and cut the yarn and weave it in later. Okay, so I just cut my green yarn and I'm going to get that out of our way here. And we're going to move on into the next round using our new color. Now moving the stitch marker out of the way, we're ready to start with round 19. Now rounds 19 through 22 are all worked the same way. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So I'm going to crochet over my tails and I'll show you how to do that before I let you go to do your rounds in single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into this stitch as normal, and I'm holding my yarn tails along the back of the top of my row here behind it. And then I'm just going to single crochet over those tails. All right, and there's my first single crochet. I'm going to put my stitch marker into that stitch. And then as I'm doing my 1 single crochet into each stitch, I'm just going to make sure that when I do my yarn over, I'm catching those yarn tails behind my work. And then I'm just encasing them inside my stitches. All right, so if you'd like to pause your video and work 1 single crochet into each stitch around for rounds 19, 20, 21, and 22, I'll meet you back here at the end of round 22 to show you how we're going to be finishing off our elf hat. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. All right, so I'm back and I just finished my last stitch of round 22. And so we're ready to finish off our hat, but we need to do a special technique that I'm going to show you now that is going to help to eliminate or minimize this step between where we our first stitches and where we finish off here, because when you work in a continuous spiral like we do have a significant step, and we're going to do a technique now that will just round that out and make it almost invisible. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut our yarn and leave a tail of at least 4 to 6 inches. Then use your crochet hook to pull that yarn tail all the way through your last stitch. Then we're going to need our tapestry needle. So I'm going to thread my yarn tail onto my tapestry needle. And then we're ready to do this technique, and it's called the invisible join. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use our yarn tail to duplicate the first stitch of the round, so that way it helps to even out that step. So we're going to skip this first stitch, and we're going to insert our needle from front to back under both loops of the second stitch. Now we're going to pull that yarn tail. We want to have it relatively tight because we want it to, again, duplicate that first stitch. So we want it to look like the front loop of that stitch. So now that I've pulled it to the size that I want, I'm going to maintain that tension by holding the yarn between my 2 fingers here. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go in through the top of the last stitch that I created. Let's turn that up so you can see that a little easier. So this is the last stitch we crocheted. We're going to take our needle and go in through the top of the stitch and pick up that back loop only. And we're going to pull the needle through to the back of the fabric. I'm going to pull that, and we're going to pull the yarn tail until we have what looks like a new stitch. Now, if you pull it too tight like I just did, you can just kind of wiggle both sides of the fabric on either side of our join to loosen up that yarn. And you want to make sure that your yarn is tensioned to look like it's about the same size as the stitch on either side. So you can see that mine's gotten a little too loose. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. And then you'll just weave in your ends on the inside of your fabric. So what I like to do is just find the back of the closest stitch and insert my yarn tail there. And I pull that and then double check my tension here on my stitch looks good. And that will hold it in place while I'm weaving in my end. And if you look at your fabric now, there is a very minimal difference between the last stitch and the beginning of your round, and it rounds it out nicely. All right, and then you would just weave in your ends and you're all done crocheting your elf hat for your Advent Adam doll. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing to this channel. If you enjoy free crochet patterns, please check out my blog, theloopylamb.com, where we've got over 100 free crochet patterns, many of which have step-by-step video tutorials just like this one. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.